Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the 19th episode of the Pure Michigan Properties podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Shalonda Wather, and I'm joined with my best friend in the industry. I almost said his name because I was so excited, but I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey everyone, my name is Dylan Mostyn. I am so excited to be sitting in this room with my favorite person, Shalonda. What's going on, Shalonda?
Dylan, let's see, what's going on? Nothing too much, enjoying the weather.
Enjoying the weather?
Yes.
Michigan has been having some funky weather lately, but it's been getting really nice.
Well, we did experience some days where there were 70 degrees, right? And so just knowing summer's around the corner.
Right there.
I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
I have seeds starting to germinate.
Nice.
And so
What are we growing?
everything. Flowers, don't ask me the name.
I won't.
But I'm also growing some vegetables as well. So
Nice.
Cucumbers. I have let me see it. No, I have cantaloupe. Cucumbers, cantaloupe, lettuce.
Okay.
We'll see how that works out. Tomatoes. And I think I have like herbs, parsley and stuff.
Do you normally grow each year?
So this will be my third year.
Okay. So you have some experience.
I have experience, but last year I wasn't as successful because I was at work most of the days.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
It happens.
It started out off really well, but then kind of flipped on me.
But you'll get back into it.
I have more time to do the things that I enjoy
Nice.
now that I'm in a career that I enjoy.
Do your kids enjoy doing it too? Or?
They do.
Good.
That's who germinates the seeds for
Oh.
me. And so
Save your little helpers.
Yeah. And so we also kind of just use the opportunity to, again, go over the plant cycle things and science.
Yeah. So they're getting like a little last night at home
Absolutely.
as well.
Yeah.
I love it.
You get to, observe and write down your observation, journal it,
Yeah.
things like that, so you can.
I remember doing that back in school, and it was like one of my favorite lessons or classes that were taught.
Okay.
And it was interesting. Besides also I'm weird. I loved the bug unit and learning about the different bugs. I didn't touch them, but I liked looking at them.
I was gonna say you should have been an etymologist.
Oh no. Bugs scare me, which is funny why I
That's
really
funny.
liked it. But we dealt with the less scary bugs, like the roly-polies and
Those are more scary.
roly-polies. I think they're fun.
They're fun.
You put a spider or oh my god,
Oh,
a
wow.
stink bug in front of me. Oh, I'm running 100 feet away.
All right, you have a point. You have a point.
I'd rather deal with a roly-poly than a stink bug.
Indeed. My niece, she loves bugs. She'll just be outside and she'll be like, hey, that's an ant. And I'm like, the ant is just a couple centimeters big. How did you spot that? So, yeah.
She has an eye for bugs.
She has an eye for bugs. And so
Good
she
for her.
also, certain bugs, she had a bug collection that she collected. So, and her parents roll with it, but I'm like, hey, niece, yeah.
You're do not bring those bugs into my house.
Let's leave that out here. On the patio.
Imagine a bug
Right?
just got loose. Oh my god.
No, it's not gonna work for me.
I've heard stories of not my friends, but just people around. I think I saw one thing on Facebook. And it was a mom. And she's my daughter brought this big bug and now it's lost. And got out of its little container.
Oh wow. Yeah, I would freak out. Definitely would freak out.
Speaking of bugs, I'm so sorry. I know this is so off the topic, but
it's
actually,
not.
now that I'm talking about it,
Yeah.
I did that once. At camp, I was obsessed with grasshoppers, and so I caught a grasshopper and I took two little Dixie cups and I taped it together so the bug wouldn't get out. And I put little holes. Yep, exactly. And I remember my mom stopped at 7-Eleven so we can get Slurpees, and so I was getting out of the car and I accidentally kicked the thing and it split the cup open.
Yeah.
Now there was a grasshopper just hopping around in her car.
Oh my goodness. Dylan, you would have had to walk home. No. But it does tie into the conversation that we're having today.
So let's talk about what are we talking about?
We're talking about home inspections.
Home inspections.
And the different kind of home inspections, and termite inspections is one of them.
Oh yeah, that makes sense actually.
Yeah. So
let's talk about
let's get into it.
Shalonda, you've been through a home inspection before,
Yes.
correct? So talk to us about that process.
So let's even back up before we get into the process of the home inspection.
Okay.
So during consultation, I discussed that there will be a period where once you make an offer on a property, that you'll then want to carry out a home inspection.
Mm-hmm.
And even sometimes sellers will carry out home inspections prior to them even listing their property.
Yep.
Just depending on the seller. And so the home inspection, I have a few companies that I recommend out, but I always let the client know, hey, do your research, because inspectors in Michigan, there's no inspector license to have or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just knowing who you're working with ahead of time is,
it's important.
It's very important.
Especially because, I mean, as the buyer, so you get your private home inspection after an accepted offer, and that's a cost to the buyer that they're paying for up front, saying that, okay, this is who I want to work, this is who I want to bring in as part of like my team for buying this house.
Absolutely.
They're going to go around. And I think something that, especially every time I meet with my buyers, I put heavy importance on is the fact that no inspection is going to come back like fully like we're good.
Yeah, even on the new construction homes, the home inspector should be finding something.
There should be at least one thing on the
Absolutely.
list. If there isn't, maybe they didn't search hard enough.
And so there is action items to consider, and then safety items that they consider as well, and recommendations. So.
And I actually just now I'm thinking about it, I kind of misspoke. So buyers do have their private inspection, but also depending on if they take out a certain kind of loans, like maybe the state does their own inspection. So like
Correct.
FHA, they'll have their representatives come in the house and do their own inspection to see, and they look at stuff that maybe, well, a home inspector will do the exact same, but they might flag something that a home inspector might not, that has to get repaired or fixed before the sale of the home actually goes through.
And so one thing I always extend to my buyers is that there's a company, Pillar to Post, whose inspectors are also realtors. And so I sometimes refer them out. Well, I do refer them out in addition to my one home inspector, who I heard from. I learned his, place in the industry through word of mouth.
Okay.
And for me, having that reputation, that word of mouth reputation, speaks volumes. Yeah. And so he's been in the industry. His name is Charles Shaver with C&M Inspections.
Okay. Yep.
And I just throw them out there in the mix, and then let them, the buyer, the client, do their job in researching.
Exactly. So let's talk about your experience when doing a home inspection. What does that look like?
So, first thing first, the offer is accepted. Now we have this due diligence period, as I call it.
Yes.
And so in that due diligence period, sometimes it depends on how many properties we're seeing, how many properties we're putting an offer on. I'll call, once I've asked the client, I'll call the home inspector ahead of time and just ask, hey, do you think you have this day and time available? If so, this is what the direction and the plan is. And once they confirm whether they have it available or not, then we'll schedule the showing. I'm sorry, the inspection. But then too, we have to schedule a showing so that the inspector can have access to the home.
Exactly.
And so
when I was for the property in Milford that we listed, so we got a call from a couple of realtors who were just vetting the clients, but I got a call from a realtor who said, I already have my inspector lined up. As soon as we get an accepted offer, I'll put a request in through the showing system to say, oh, we'll have our inspection this. And I really respected that, because that means they were on top of their game. And I trusted that now, as soon as that inspection's good, they got their appraisal ready to go, and then we will get it clear to close, which is exactly what happened.
Absolutely.
And it went so smooth, no issues. So sometimes I think, or actually most times, but I think it's important to already have your ducks in a row.
Yes.
Before even putting in an offer of saying, okay, this is when my person will apply for a mortgage.
Yeah.
This is when my inspector will be able to be available to come see the property.
Yes.
This is when an appraiser is ready to come and do their thing. So I think on the aspect of just helping out on both sides of the transaction,
Yes.
the listing and the buyer side, having an inspector in your pocket who will answer your calls, who can say, hey, I am available this date, I'll be ready to go, so you already can schedule that showing in the system.
Yep.
So I think just going above and beyond, really, as a realtor on our ends.
Well, here's the thing. We know that properties are sometimes flying off the market.
Mhm.
I just experienced this over the weekend where my client sent me a property, and I'm like, okay, so let's go see it such day and time.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 days away. The property went on market and went pending in one day.
Of course.
So we didn't even
You didn't get the
to
opportunity.
get in there.
Mhm.
And so that's important to have everything lined up, the plan lined up.
I cannot agree
Yeah.
more, especially in like the market that we're in today.
Yep.
Already having a game plan ready to go.
Absolutely.
Because things are so competitive nowadays where if you're not fighting to get into a house, you might just have lost your opportunity. And back to the whole inspection conversation, having that already lined up in your offer, say, hey, we already have an inspector who is ready to come. I mean, the offer that we accepted in Milford, the listing agent, or I was listing agent, but the buyer's agent called and said we'll have our inspector in 2 days.
Yes.
And they had exactly that.
And part of knowing, working as a buyer's agent is even discussing what type of inspections to have.
Yes.
And that includes knowing and researching that market.
Mm-hmm.
Because some inspections are more important in certain, markets,
Yeah.
whereas other markets may not need
Mm-hmm.
those inspections.
Well and septic,
Mhm.
termite,
Absolutely.
just your private inspection.
Yeah,
FHA.
radon gas.
Ooh, good one. I
things
totally
like that.
forgot about that
Mhm.
one. So important because, I mean, when I first got into the industry, I just thought it was a one-all, be-all.
I did too.
There's lots of inspections to be had depending on the different types of houses, location
Yep.
that you're in.
What you're doing with the land use.
Yes.
So if you're buying agricultural land, you probably want the soil inspected.
Yeah, no, just
So-
making sure like if you whatever use that you're using on the land, could
Sure.
it happen, right?
Yeah.
Because in wetlands you can't really build on that. There's
That's
not,
right.
not much you can do. You want dry, so
Absolutely.
just doing your due diligence beforehand before you even get the property as a
Mhm.
clear close. So important.
So important. And then, so I guess moving forward in the process would be, I always attend the home inspections. I'm jotting down notes
As the buyer's agent,
as
or
the buyer's
okay.
agent.
Yeah.
Yep. Always jotting down notes just in case. Typically, I want my buyer present. And if my buyer can't be present, then, I have to take more notes.
Right.
So, which is fine. But at the end of the day, just making sure that they understand that typically home inspectors, they're looking out the as well as the plumbing,
Mhm.
electricity, different appliances and things like that.
Yes.
And the heating and cooling.
Yes.
And so,
I think it's important on that aspect as well because you want to make sure you have the right inspector for the right person.
correct.
Because some inspectors, the verbiage they use can sound very scary. If you have like a first-time home buyer and they're spitting out all these words and your buyers have no clue what they're saying, but you're just hearing like these big ticket items,
Yeah.
they could freak them out and they could be like, okay, actually, never mind.
Well, that's, I think, part of our value is, and we've already started, like, we go to Home Depot and do our research
Yep.
because everything is not a major concern. And so,
Yep.
even us knowing the resolution, the remedy to some things that may come up in inspection
Mhm.
ahead of time can help alleviate that stress.
I agree.
Yeah,
And I think that's important too, is also being able to articulate to your buyers saying,
absolutely.
this is what the report came back as. These are the things that we need to prioritize. This is what we don't really need to prioritize. We can wait a little bit longer. I mean, that's just what happened with the Milford houses. Their buyer's agent did a fabulous job. I
Okay.
think the way that she explained it to her clients was this is the things that need to get done now.
Right.
This is the stuff you guys can do later. Like, do not worry about this. Like, it came back on the report, of course, because it is an item that needs to
be addressed.
Sure. But does it need to be addressed now, or can it be
Mm-hmm.
addressed later? Which some things were addressed later. One thing was brought up now. We went through the negotiations through that. Smooth sailing.
I will say that the home inspector that I typically work with also is the builder himself and an investor himself.
Okay.
And so typically as he's going through the properties and he's finding, the different issues or concerns, he's also addressing, hey, this is how you remedy that himself. And at the end of it, we're digesting the information, having a conversation, and I'm even asking, hey, so in your eyes, what would you prioritize? And why would you prioritize this over this?
And I think that's why having a good relationship with an inspector is super important, because they'll give you like their honest feedback, but also in a way that you can understand it.
Absolutely.
And they don't make it sound scary. They say these are the items that are going to cost this. This is what you can do. This is the better way to do it. Or they give you solutions to your things rather than just giving you an inspection report.
Absolutely.
That's the difference between like a functionary and a fiduciary, right? At the end of the day, we're fiduciary duties to our clients, so making sure we have that information and are armed with it so we can give it to our clients is so important. Especially for our buyers who may be buying their first or second property, who don't really understand a lot of the process.
True.
But need that guidance to say, yeah, maybe it's time to walk from this property, or hey, it sounds scary, but let me talk you through this because it's actually not as bad as we think it might be.
Yeah, I agree there. And so even part of my process, if I can give you a quick walkthrough,
Please do.
is I try to arrive early, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, depending on if the home is occupied or unoccupied, and I'm walking the integrity, the perimeter of the property, and I'm able to kind of identify some things that I know that the home inspector will point out at this point.
That's
so,
important.
Yeah.
Especially, I kind of already doing your due diligence beforehand, and just saying these are the things that are going to get flagged. I just want to let you know up front before the inspector even comes in.
Yeah.
Because you're already kind of pre-warning them about stuff, and it doesn't sound scary when
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
their trusted agent tells them.
Exactly. And so the thing is too, we go in understanding, the construction of the home as well. Right? And so over time, we live in Michigan, and it's important to know that Michigan is a wet state.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by 5 of the greatest lakes.
Yeah.
The 5 Great Lakes.
Yes.
And so with that, water is also the most powerful resource in the world. And so
Yes.
it has its effects on properties, and that doesn't mean that you have water pouring into your foundation or anything like that.
Right.
It's even the outside, around the perimeter, the grading, it can affect if your gutters aren't intact and roof isn't in a good standing and things like that. So just addressing that. Also discussing how water gets into the cracks and crevices of our driveways and things like that.
Right.
And as they freeze, they expand underground, and then they melt, and
then
it leaves a hole.
It starts to go into the concrete, which just raised it, and it eventually got so high it became a safety concern.
Okay.
To where you would literally trip all the time.
Oh wow, yeah.
So we obviously have to get that fixed.
Sure.
That would be flagged on an inspection report for sure.
Yeah.
But just understanding understanding how it got caused,
That's it.
process of it, how to remedy it, and then what the cost will be. I think those are all the variable factors that go into the equation. Plug those all in, you can get a solution.
Yeah.
The solution just depends, or after you get the solution, just depends now. Do you want to walk away from the property, or do you think this is something you can handle?
Right. And so we conclude the outside walkthrough. We take it inside. you know, typically I'm already there, so the lights and everything is already open. Blinds are already drawn, so that the inspector can see what's going on.
Right. Look at the windows. Look at everything.
Yep. Because they're pulling windows up and down, making sure they're hung right on track, that they're easy.
Yeah.
Some of them will identify if they're efficient.
Right.
Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And that's why I think it's just important to make sure you have the right inspectors.
Yeah.
Because every inspector's eyes are trained a little bit differently to look at different things. It's just making sure you have the most efficient inspector for what you're looking for in a house. It's important, and I think also just the way they explain things.
That's right. And then I'm also walking through the house with my client, typically making sure they're touching everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but hey, if you break, you buy. So, no. But yeah, just touching everything, making sure everything is functional.
I think it's important. I know this is also a really hard question, but on average, how long do you think an inspection lasts?
Well, depending on the square footage of the home, typically anything 1,000 square feet below 2 hours.
Mm.
And then really 2 hours is the starting point.
Okay.
That's the baseline. And then it'll vary from there.
Mm.
Depending on the style of the home also varies.
That makes sense. I mean, especially for a home that, if it's 1,000 square feet, 2,000, whatever.
Yeah.
Starting at that 2 hours, which it seems like a long time, but it really isn't, especially for everything that the inspector has to look at.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors in a home that...
Yeah. They're going through crawl spaces, attics, checking out, each electrical what is it called? Receptacle? What do they call it? The outlets.
The...
Receptacles. That's what they're called. And so making sure they're all grounded, things like that, checking out the plumbing, making sure that there aren't any S-traps now. There was a time where there were S-traps, and so the water wouldn't flow and the suction wasn't there, and things like that. So, typically the baseline is 2 hours.
Okay.
And that's for any size property. Because the inspector will also bring the ladder out and get on top of roofs if needed.
They check everything and anything.
Exactly. So
I mean, that's literally what an inspection is, right? You want, at the end of the day, understanding that your house in the condition that it is so important to one, not only just the seller, but also to a buyer. I think also it's important the way that, because you can get creative with an inspection and how you write it as a offer. So for my Milford house, we had inspections. Some people waive an inspection.
Yeah.
Which I don't recommend.
I don't recommend waiving an inspection.
I
think
see
that more with investors.
Yes. I think as a buyer, I think it's important to at least understand the condition that your house is in. But there's different types of ways you can write how you want your inspection to happen on an offer for a house.
Correct.
As a buyer. So there's some that just do informational purposes only, which, especially in today's market where things are flying off the shelves and it's very competitive.
Yes.
For some buyers, it makes sense for them to say, we just want to know the condition, we just want to have that information guarded on our end.
Yeah.
We'll still go through with the transaction, but we also want to at least understand our rights of what we're assuming.
Absolutely.
Some people do pass-fail
inspections,
where it's either we're taking it or we're just failing it. Or not failing, but like
we're passing.
We're passing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it. If it failed, then we're moving along. If it passed, then we'll continue through.
Exactly.
So you got it.
So, and then other ones are, I received one that was just for the health and safety of the house. So they wouldn't change their mind if they didn't like the color of the door.
Right.
But, I mean, that could happen, right?
That's right.
Because an inspection is part of the due diligence, and any time in that due diligence period, you're able to walk away.
Absolutely.
Sometimes with ramifications behind it, saying like you're going to be giving your EMD to the seller. Sometimes you'll get EMD back because of the way that you rate your offer.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why having a good agent is so important. because they'll protect you and what you're writing as an offer
Absolutely.
based off the conversations that you and the agent have and what's important to you and what's not.
And I like that word. That's one that we have to really outline and highlight is this is your protection. The home
Yes.
inspection, the due diligence period altogether is protection for the buyer. Yeah.
It's so important, especially, I don't know why I always bring it back to like the first time home buyers, but I think I do it just because they genuinely, this is their first time buying a house, so they don't know what they don't know.
Correct.
And having that information armed under them to make informed decisions
Yes.
is so important, because back to what Brent said, he was like, people who are not confident
people
do not
decisions.
make decisions.
Absolutely.
People who are confident make decisions, and they make decisions confidently.
Absolutely.
So having that information armed with them, and that's why I say don't waive an inspection.
Yeah,
You can just do it for informational purposes only if you're really that sure about it.
Yes.
But I think as a buyer, it's your right to understand the condition of the
That's
home.
right.
Yes, it costs a couple $100,
Yes.
but I'd rather know a couple $100 in before I make a purchase on a house that I need to put tens of thousands.
100,000.
Oh, yeah.
Things like that. Tens of thousands.
I mean, imagine going in and then realizing you have to tear this whole place down because
Exactly.
it's just in the condition that it's horrible.
That movie I always come around to, are we done yet? And so that one was funny because the realtor was also the home inspector. No, yeah. So to wrap up an inspection, in my experience, once the inspector has collected all the data and information, kind of just debrief the buyer as to what the findings are, the key findings and things like that. They collect a payment. Typically, same day, 24 hours.
Yeah.
The inspection report is made available through our online portal.
Now let me ask you this before we even wrap this up. So obviously the inspector will kind of go through everything with the buyers, or if the buyers aren't there, they'll
The result, and afterwards I never try and say, hey, I'll go over the whole inspection with you if the buyer is not present. No, we're gonna call the inspector together because I don't want to miss anything.
That's actually really smart, is to bring the inspector back into the kind of conversation if your buyers aren't even there. To say, on my end, I might have misinterpreted something, or maybe I don't want to blow something out of proportion on my end because maybe it was a smaller deal and I just thought it was something that it could be. Because we're not experts. But we're dangerous enough to know the process behind it. We're not mortgage experts. We're not appraisal experts. We're not legal experts. We can't even give legal advice.
That's right.
But we're also not inspection experts either.
Yeah.
We just know enough to get you through it.
That's right. That's fair.
That's
my standpoint.
And especially because, I mean, I know you do the exact same thing on your buyer's consultations. I tell people, I'm like, we're bringing in a team of people. Not only are you bringing in me, but we also need to bring in the other trusted professionals.
Yeah.
And that's how we really do get you to win at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, when I sit down and put together the tailored plans, I'm mentioning everyone who will be on the team.
Yes.
And so those plans change from time to time as well. Yep.
Yeah, no, I think it's important, especially because, like, as a buyer, I would want to know who's in your pocket that you trust, because obviously if they're going to you as the expert of real estate. I mean, my buyers too, they didn't have a mortgage lender who they knew, so I was like, let me get you connected with my guy.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you guys just initially meet him. And they're like, no, we already trust him. You work with him, so obviously you know what
That's right.
And that was the best feeling to me, not just because they wanted to surpass, like, the whole oh, we want to meet him. They said, we trust you, so we know that we're in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
And as a professional in the
That
industry,
feels good.
it just makes me feel really
Yeah.
good because I'm building that trust within my own community.
Absolutely.
And then it continues to expand out.
That's right.
And I think as just buyers, it's important to understand who you're working with, why you're working with them, and what they do and what they don't do as
That's
well.
right.
So as we wrap up this episode, Shalonda, how did they get in contact with you to start their real estate journey?
Well, to learn more about any part of the process, whether you're starting your journey or not, you can reach out to me by calling 586-339-8321 or texting me 586-339-8321. That's the best way, or reaching out to me, Shalonda, spelled SHALAUNDA, .kw.com or at kw.com. Yeah, so both .kw.com and at kw.com, Shalonda. Yep, and Dylan,
Yes.
tell the folks how they can get in contact with you.
Best way to do that is by phone. You can either call or text to 248-891-9860, or if you're don't like to pick up the phone, you can go on my website, check it out. You can go to dylanmoston.com, spelled DYLANM. And on that note, we're going to wrap up the
It's
19th. Oh my God, we're going to the 20th episode.
We're going to
We beat the teens.
That feels good to say.
So we will see you guys next week for another fantastic episode of the Pure Michigan Properties Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.